From author J.K. Rowling and Ellen DeGeneres to Dr. Seuss and Disney, cancel culture has become a big part of today's society.
Alec Klein spent much of his career trying to help the wrongly accused until he found himself on the other side, accused of sexual harassment by a group of students at Northwestern University, where he had taught for almost 10 years. He is now sharing his thoughts about the dark side of social injustice in his memoir, Aftermath, When It Felt Like Life Was Over. And Alec joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
For those who are not familiar with this situation, many students accuse you of sexual assault, and you say you were wrongly accused. From your perspective, what was their motivation for lying, if that's your argument?
Well, just to correct the record.
I'm sorry, sexual harassment, excuse me.
Assault.
Yeah.
Actually, what was put out there was led by a former employee whom I had let go. And what was put out in the media was wildly false. So first of all, the actual complaints to the university, none of them included any kind of sexual interaction. These were actually a hodgepodge of complaints that students filed with the university, for instance, about their grades. So some students wanted like a A- instead of a B+. Several students complained about a chair in my office that they said was slightly lower to the ground than my chair. They called it a power differential. And by the way, I'd never heard that term before, and I should add that you can't really make any college student sit in any particular chair. If they want to sit in a chair, they're going to sit in it. But I ended up throwing out that chair. And just to give you one other example, there was a student who said that I mocked her foreign accent while on a reporting trip to Florida. Now, first of all, my mother speaks with a foreign accent, but I checked my records, and I wasn't in the state of Florida when this student said that I mocked her accent. So the actual complaints were, all over the map, but they weren't what was portrayed in the media. But it doesn't really matter, because under cancel culture, once it's put out there, the accusations, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, you're instantly destroyed, you're cast out, and you're not supposed to come back. And that's what happened to me, and that's what's happening throughout the country, as you just pointed out.
So what happened? Did the university investigate these claims? Or I know you resigned, so did you not want to stay and fight the claims?
Well, I did fight the claims for many months, and I should add that I was never sanctioned. I was never fired. I voluntarily resigned because it was such a traumatic ordeal for my whole family. My father tried to commit suicide in the midst of this. I thought about ending my own life. It was a terrible trauma to my children. And I did fight this for many months, but in the end, I realized that the best thing for me to do was to walk away from this situation because it was so horrific and terrible. And by the way, a lot of people say, oh, what's the big deal? You're losing a job. But cancel culture is much worse than that. You are destroyed in a 360 kind of way. You're destroyed professionally, you're destroyed socially, and you're supposed to just be left out of society. And it's a terrible thing. But for me, all I could do was try to fight it over several months, but ultimately I decided the best thing to do was to walk away from it, and that's what I did.
Yeah, so it seems like the internet has become weaponized over the years, and in some instances it may be a good thing for someone who needs to be taken down. But what is your advice for people to decipher what's real and maybe what isn't?
I got to tell you, I totally agree that the internet has been weaponized. The problem is that there's no due process. In other words, all it takes are a bunch of people to kind of put out an accusation, and it utterly destroys somebody. And to me, that is a dangerous thing to do. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with any demographic. The fact that it can be put out there, some sort of wildly false accusation, and it can destroy somebody is dangerous, whether it's, about Dr. Seuss. By the way, there was a case involving the teen Vogue editor who was about to take over recently, but then they found tweets from when she was a teenager, and her tweets were inappropriate. But are you supposed to be accountable for those tweets as a child, essentially, when you're an adult in a professional setting? And to me, there are real problems with this because it's dangerous. And I do think that this is not the way we should be resolving problems by having the mob on social media throw digital stones at people. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do, and it's happening every day over the country.
So when it happens, it seems like an institution or a company, they panic and they just push the button, and is your idea that maybe these companies and institutions should stand up to these people who are canceling something without due process?
Well, I have to say there's been a lack of backbone in the corporate world. because they're worried about their commercial interests. And so if they see any kind of controversy, they want to back away from it as quickly as possible. So they are caving quickly, which is only emboldening those who are doing the digital stoning, those who are trying to cancel people. And so that's why it's actually getting worse than getting better now, because they're seeing that it's an effective way to take power, to take people down, whether it's true or not, whether the accusations have any merit to them. And that's a dangerous thing. It kind of reminds me of McCarthyism or the Salem witch trials, which is to say that, all it took was somebody pointing the finger and saying, you know what, you're bad for whatever reason, whether it's true or not. And people believed it, and it destroyed people's lives. And of course, we look back at McCarthyism now and say, oh gosh, that was totally crazy. At the time, people didn't think so. I think we're in another period like that, where it's incredibly dangerous and it's affecting people all over the world, especially children. They have access to their smartphones, right?
Yeah.
They're pushing things on social media. Kids have actually killed themselves over bad words that have been said about them that are false.
So the title of your book is Aftermath. What is your aftermath? What's your next chapter?
Well, I got to tell you, when I started writing it, it wasn't intended to be a book. I was having trouble sleeping at night. I woke up at 4 something in the morning and I started writing because I'm a writer. That's what I do. And I thought I was writing a journal to myself, but it was more about, how do you deal with suffering in the aftermath of something that terrible happened to you? And by the way, terrible things are going to happen to virtually all of us. And it's a question of how we deal with that. And so the book for me was really about, I think, healing. I spent a lot of the time in the midst of my own accusations. I went out to Oklahoma and I helped to create a nonprofit to help inmates, talk about those who were really canceled. And I was trying to help them either deal with excessive sentencing or if they were wrongly convicted. And I spent many months doing that. It's part of the book, but it's a lot about just, how do we deal with suffering? And for me, a lot of it came back to faith, which is about forgiveness and compassion and the things that are in the Gospels that I think we should be returning to and thinking about, so that we're not so filled with vitriol and anger and trying to take people down. I don't think that's the way to go.
Alec Klein, we appreciate you joining us. The book is called Aftermath, When It Felt Like Life Was Over. For more, you can check out alecklein.net. Thanks for being with us.
Alec.
Thank you.